You are watching Germantown Municipal Television, your source for everything Germantown.
Hello, I am your Superintendent, Jason Manuel. Thank you for joining us for the November 2018 installment of the Germantown Municipal School District's Spotlight on Excellence. Today our show will highlight our 3 academies at Houston High School: the Honors Academy, the Leadership Academy, and the Academy for the Visual and Performing Arts. Also stopping by our studio to talk about another successful year in women's athletics is Coach Steve Bell and volleyball player Natalie Ziomek. Later in the show, we've got a unique installment of Students Live in which AP Art student Ella Keenin will showcase some of her work. But first, we are proud that the administrative and counseling staff at Houston High School have begun a new tradition known as Future Day, and we brought 2 of the many players in bringing that day to life. Thank you all for being here. We'll first introduce ourselves. We'll start with you, Mr. LeGault.
Hi, I'm Robert LeGault, and
what do you do at Houston?
I'm a assistant principal at Houston High School. Been there 5 years. And been in public education 17 years.
And I'm Sara Schmitt. I'm the college and career counselor at Houston. I have been at Houston since 2000.
That's okay.
Uh-oh.
I think since we opened as a district, I think it's
Yes.
2004. So tell us a little bit about Future Day. So this is something new to us, and it kind of came out from, it was synthetic, organic, where y'all were really brainstorming how to deal with testing schedules. Tell us what is Future Day and how does it relate to students? So Mr. LeGault, we'll start.
Well, when we looked at the end of the year and the start of the new year, the administrative team and our counseling division was really looking at some ways where we could promote social emotional learning while throughout the course of the year while we're also focusing on college and career preparedness. And so with that, we looked at our scheduling, and within our scheduling, we saw a couple opportunities during the ACT testing windows, one in the fall, one in the spring. Mm-hmm. And during that time frame, we differentiated our plans for each grade level to meet their needs, college, career, and also for the Future Aid Day as a whole, kind of in line with what the state's doing with the career pathways and things of that nature. So what we did was the 12th graders were taking the ACT, and give mad props to Miss Kenny and Miss Jones and Miss Riggin for doing such a great job in the coordinating of that piece. And then the 11th grade were doing an ACT practice, and then the sophomores were doing the ASVAB with Mr. Ross, our other AP, and Miss Kreitz coordinating that piece to give another piece of data and information to show kids this is also available for you to use as you figure out what you would like to do in your future. And then I got to give huge respects to what our plan was in 9th grade. 9th grade, we're like, we're going to retest them, we're going to test them, what should we do? So we took all the information we had from last year, student input, data input, parent input, you name it. And we looked at it and tried to come up with a plan to get some bang for our buck. So we coordinated sessions where part of that time frame was going to be focused on college and career pathways with Ms. Sara Schmitt, where we looked at Naviance and that type of tool and helping them open up a window to see where would they like to go and what are some tools available to them. And the other half of the session was going to be where Ms. Treglia and Ms. Fisher were going to coordinate a mini challenge day, a day where during that time frame we have stakeholders coming in, teachers coming in, helping out with our freshman classes on promoting empathy, family, teamwork, and promoting this Houston way that, if something happens, if adversity happens, if bullying happens, here's the awareness and here's how we can address it as a family. So.
Well, I think the challenge that people don't realize, and this is because I had to serve as testing coordinator at the school, y'all know it's hard because so many of our teachers teach multiple grade levels. And so when we would have a testing day and we'd have to shut down this group of teachers or this hallway because they're giving a retake to seniors for the ACT, it would kind of mess up the rest of the day's schedule. So I think it's special that y'all thought of a valuable way to really take something that was a negative and make it a positive. So, Ms. Schmitt, tell us a little bit about your role in this process. So, as Mr. LeGault was talking about, y'all are looking at the counseling side of it too.
Yes, so actually this summer I attended a conference and was able to interact with many different college and career counselors across the southern region, and I got a lot of good ideas from them, and one of their ideas was to bring in admissions officers to speak with ninth graders. And having been the freshman counselor here for the past 4 years, I see how the ninth graders do need to know some things now to prepare for what's going to happen 4 years from now. So I was really excited to be a part of this day and helping to plan with the freshmen.
Well, I think that's a good point. It's too late by the time you start applying for university. Say, oh, I wish I would have done that when I was a freshman, or I wish I would have joined that club or taken that leadership opportunity in school. But you're getting them thinking about it now. So you mentioned something, Mr. LeGault, Naviance. Explain, Sarah, what is Naviance for?
Sure. Naviance is a web-based program that all of our students have access to from 9th grade through 12th grade. There are so many features on Naviance, from career researching to college researching. There are interest inventories, so students can answer some simple questions about themselves, and Naviance will generate a list of careers that may be a good fit based on the way they answered the questions and their interests. There's also ways to search different colleges by college majors or regions of the United States. You can find out all kinds of different information on many schools. You can also look at schools that Houston students have applied to see what a typical Houston student who may be admitted looks like, to set some goals for yourself as a freshman or sophomore.
So this is also helping us branch into the next step for them. So y'all also had a college fair recently. Tell us a little bit about how this will help them prepare for that college fair.
Sure.
Or it doesn't matter.
So the Future Ready Day was on Tuesday and the college fair was Thursday. And on Future Ready Day, I had Stephen Mizell from the University of Memphis come and speak with the freshmen. So they were able to kind of hear about some things that they can be doing now, again, to prepare for 4 years from now. And then on Thursday, they got to meet with 42 different college representatives if they wanted to, and get college information and get a better understanding of what types of grades they should be setting goals to make, and ACT scores, and just learning about the different programs that the colleges offer.
And you mentioned that there's another opportunity coming in the spring, so we have another Future Day possible.
Yes, we're working on the April 2nd, the ACT for the juniors. We're establishing a plan now to revisit Future Ready Day #2, the sequel. We're going to try to make the sequel just as good as the first one, where we're going to dive a little deeper in some questioning and helping with the students and using that information to help them grow towards their sophomore year.
Well, thank you all both for turning something that was a challenge for the district into something special that's really going to help kids plan for their futures. It's incredible that our leadership team continues to think outside of the box, and that Houston High School is working to develop the whole student for a bright future. After the break, we will welcome this year's TSSAA State Coach of the Year for Girls Golf and volleyball player Natalie Ziomek to the studio.
Oh, emojis! I thought the conversation just got dumber.
Ugh, internet trolls, just ignore them.
I like you just the way you are.
I believe in you! She's a hugger. Give her a squeeze.
Help up the hand.
Ah, there you go.
Thanks, mate.
You're killing it, Jane!
You are watching Germantown Municipal Television, your source for everything Germantown.
Welcome back. I am Superintendent Jason Manuel. With 6 state championships and 17 region and district wins under his belt as the golf coach, Stephen Bell is an asset to Houston High School. But also with us is Natalie Ziomek. She's the team captain of the Houston High School volleyball team, and she was named MVP of the 2018 Regional Championship. Thank you all both for being here.
Thank you.
Well, let's start with talking golf a little bit. How long have you been here, Coach Bell, at Houston High School?
I have been here since 2006.
Now, have you always been the golf coach here since you started?
Since 2008, yes, sir.
Since 2008, you transferred over.
Mhm.
That's an impressive number of wins that you've accomplished. Tell us a little bit about how you got into golf and what really drew you to the sport with the kids.
I played, before I was a teacher, I was a golf pro.
Mhm.
And I've always liked the game. I like the individual aspect of it. And then when you put it together with the team, it's kind of the best of both worlds. And I enjoy working with the kids. I'd like to say that it keeps me young, but some would beg to differ. But sometimes it causes gray hair, but it's a lot of fun.
So when you look at coaching golf, it's a little different feel because a lot of these kids are coming in with than other sports because they're coming in with, they've established themselves, they have private coaches. As being a golf pro, you can give them a little different expertise and how to view not the X's and O's, not the, hey, here's your stroke, and you may do that, but you also help them think about where they are in the game, in the match, as a team, as an individual. How's that different than being the player?
Well, obviously there's fundamentals, whatever sport you're talking about. But the main thing is that there's a lot of kids, not only at Houston, but all over the place, that can hit a golf ball, but don't really understand how to play golf. That's where I tend to focus more, because most of the players that we get here at Houston do have some high skill levels,
Right.
but perhaps they lack a little bit of tactical experience and understand what's the safest play and what's
Right.
what we're trying to accomplish as a team.
I was thinking that maybe Tin Cup. I don't know if you.
Oh yeah.
Where I think he takes like 17 times. He's going to land it on the green. It didn't matter
Right.
what he was doing. Is that the approach that you're talking about, and when to lay up or when to?
Right, and it's situational, and the only way that you can get that is with experience. And experience and pressure is very hard to recreate until you experience
Yes.
it. But like I said, my main focus is the tactics. You know, it's just not unlike my accounting classes. Everybody can add and subtract, but not everybody can do accounting.
Right.
And so you have to kind of focus on this is how we accomplish an accounting problem, or playing and winning a state or a region tournament. This is the best way to go about it.
Well, whether we're talking golf or talking volleyball, I think there's that pressure that we're competing at really high levels and a lot of stress. So tell us, what drew you to volleyball? And I know you play other sports too, because you played middle school basketball. You still play lacrosse?
Yes, sir.
So what drew you to volleyball?
Just because it's more than just a physical aspect of the game. Like, it takes a lot of mental capability and mental toughness just to go out on the court and make a couple of mistakes and then not get down on yourself. And being able to, like, work as a team together and pick each other up, that's really what drove me to play volleyball.
So when you look back on your time here at Houston High School, because it's kind of bittersweet. You're a senior this year, so this is your last hurrah at state. I want to get emotional with you. What was a highlight for you when you look back and say, this was great? When I'm talking to other girls who are thinking about playing volleyball, what would you tell them?
I would tell them that it's just like a family. Like, no matter what level you are, there's always a place for you on the team, whether you're starting out and you can cheer for everybody, or you're at the top level going D1. There's always a spot for you in the volleyball program, no matter whether it's a manager or a starting position.
So tell us how y'all finished the season this year.
We ended up 4th in the state, which is the best we've ever done in history. We've never done any better than that.
Right.
So we ended up pretty good for how we thought.
That's incredible. And I know that you talk about that sports mentality of not getting down on yourself and focusing on what you can control. You had ups and downs in the season. Y'all didn't go undefeated all the way through and then all of a sudden coming to 4th. What were those hurdles that y'all had this season when you look back?
Well, we definitely have a lot of underclassmen on our team, and bringing them up to speed with some of our more senior players definitely was a hump in the road. And another one would be definitely losing to Carterville early in districts, having to fight them and beat them in district championships to secure a spot in regionals was definitely something that we had to overcome.
Tell us about Coach Pendleton's role in this. What does she give y'all? When you look back on Coach Pendleton, say, how does she guide this program? Because y'all do have a lot of success.
She just like opens up so many resources for you. Like you could walk in there one day and she has 30 club coaches coming to ask you like, come play for me, come do this. Like there's just so much opportunity. Like whether you've just started playing, like she can find you a team, a coach, like anything. Like she has so many resources available.
So she's connected to the volleyball network. Well, tell us a little bit more about golf. So when we're talking about these students, and you do boys and girls also.
Yes, sir.
Is there a difference when you're coaching boys and girls golf and how you approach them?
Yes, I tend to be a little more sensitive with the girls. The boys I play with quite a bit over the summer. I get to know them probably better than some of the girls. Jana, who travels quite a bit, she's going to Vandy. So I don't see her as much.
So when you look back on your seasons, was there a pivotal moment for your team? And when you look back on seasons where you say that really propelled us to have the level of success that we did?
Well, both Jana and King, my seniors this year, really grew as leaders. That's what was probably the most proud I was, rather than just what they shot. They really took the underclassmen under their wings and led them to where we ultimately ended up.
Well, I'm going to steal some of Natalie's thunder. She kind of mentioned this. When I talked to you about volleyball, it wasn't about wins and losses. It was about your experience as a family and a team. Coach Bell, if we're going to end with you, if someone's considering playing athletics at Houston High School, what would you say is their takeaway, whether it's golf, volleyball, soccer, whatever the sport? Why play sports? Why be a part of these programs?
Well, I think it makes you probably more well-rounded, not only as an athlete, but your social circle, also academic circle. There's a lot you can glean from competition, whether it's competition in the classroom or on the field of athletics. And I think that's a bonus.
Well, thank y'all both for being here with us. With every single women's sport winning regional championships, we have had a successful year at Houston High School. Before the break, we welcome AP Art student Ella Keenin to the studio in this month's installment of Students Live. We would like to welcome Ella Keenin, an AP Art student here at Houston High School, for our Students Live section. And this is the first time we've ever had visual arts.
That's awesome.
So what we really want you to do is tell us a little bit about what you're working on, the pieces that you have here for us, and how it's part of a bigger picture. So tell us what you've been working on.
Okay, well, I'm a part of the AP Art class here at Houston High School, and in that we do a 12-piece concentration series about a theme that we are passionate about. And my passion is passions. So in my series, I am exploring different people's passions. Each individual piece highlights an individual that I know and love and their passion that drives them. So I've also incorporated some pressed flowers that I preserved myself because I'm really into foliage and plant life, and it just incorporates me into the piece that is all about them as well. So I have my own flair to it.
And I think that's what's special, and I hope that they can see this when they're watching the show, is it really is a three-dimensional piece of artwork, because we talk about that it is a raised structure and has texture, but it's also very fragile.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about their passions.
Okay, so this one was actually my first one I did. This is Ethan Scott. He is a barista at Bell Tower Artisans. He's dedicated his life to coffee. He's only 19 years old, and he's already one of the top baristas in Memphis, and he's done competitions for the United States too. And then I've done my sister, Lydia Keenin. She is an environmentalist. She writes about sustainable living, and she's a vegan, and she's very active in the environment program. I've done my friend Marion Barber. She's an actress at Harding Academy. She does stuff at Stage Door Productions. This is Morgan Williams. She is a singer and songwriter. She goes here at Houston High School, and she does a lot of competitions as well. And then Brian Earwood, he is my friend from Bell Tower Artisan. He is a potter. He does a lot of ceramics, and he's just a really cool guy.
Well, thank you for showing us your work. It is incredible, and being up close, I hope they can see this on the TV, how special it is.
Oh, thank you.
You are watching Germantown Municipal Television, your source for everything Germantown.
Before the break, we heard from AP Art student Ella Keenin during our Students Live segment. But now as we move into November, it's time to shine a positive light on our 3 Houston High School academies. We have 2 of our teachers who lead those academies. Thank you all for being here.
Thanks.
Tell us a little bit about who you are, how long you've been at Houston, and what academy you work with. So we'll start with you.
I'm Abigail Simone. I teach Latin here at Houston High. I've been here, this is my 11th year at Houston.
Wow.
And my 8th year working with the Honors Academy.
And I'm Kell Christie. I have been here for 9 years, and this is my 3rd year working with the Fine Arts Academy. I teach theater.
Well, I think what's special is people need to understand how the academies work, and they're all different. They act a little different, they look a little bit different. But I think when we were looking at Houston High School and talking about 1,900 students, that's a big school. And for some students and some families, that's overwhelming to think that, wow, that's a lot of students. How do I get plugged in? How do I find friends? Who's my social circle? And I think the academies kind of help with that philosophy, but they do more than that. So we'll start with Honors Academy. Tell us about the Honors Academy, what you do with it, and what it looks like, and how it works.
Sure. So the Honors Academy is a group of students who commit to taking at least 12 honors, AP, or dual enrollment classes in their high school career. And they, a lot of them take a lot more than that.
Right.
12 is our minimum. And then they each complete 12 hours of service, some to the school, the school district, and some in the community anywhere that they want to. And then throughout the year we bring in speakers, we do PSAT prep, we do kind of college admissions interview prep, lots of different things depending upon the interest of the kids and what they feel like that they need to get those high scores and to be prepared as they walk into those competitive college selection processes.
And I think what's special is we talk about how it developed, and you really have taken the Honors Academy and made it something more than we could ever imagine. Another goal that we have, besides creating a smaller community, was looking for leadership opportunities in the academy. Talk a little bit about what you've done with the board, because now you'll have students that actually serve and help with the academy.
Yes, we have an Honors Academy Council of students, so it's really student-driven. So we have sophomores, juniors, and seniors who are selected in the spring who kind of organize our activities. For example, last year, we have a kickoff every year in July, and last year they decided that they wanted to give back to the Houston community. We were painted last summer, and so they organized a whole thing to where kids came back and gave back to their school and moved every teacher into their room and all that things. But we've done a lot of things in the community too. For example, last year we raised enough money and then gathered enough supplies to send 100 boxes and care packages to deployed Mid-Southerners
Wow.
for the holiday season. So that was kind of a cool thing that it's all student driven. They came up with it, they organized it, they raised the money. They said, you know, here's who needs to bring what. And so it gives them an opportunity to have something really special that they can say about themselves that they did that was unique to them. Our seniors also do a Capstone Project, which is kind of a unique aspect. Not a lot of places do that, but the Capstone Project is, again, something else that's very driven to them, whether it's an academic interest or community service or a future career. We have kids shadowed everywhere from St. Jude to the University of Memphis, or cleaning up the Wolf River, or doing an art exhibition, whatever is unique to them, to give them something, again, to talk about as they leave and to make an impact on our community.
Well, it's exciting, and I'm really grateful for you picking up that baton, that torch, and making it something more than we could have ever envisioned. Now, fine arts is something new, so we are just in the infancy of creating what it could be like. So I think a lot of what we need to talk about is what are we dreaming, and what do you see as being visions for fine arts? So I got a hard question first. So
Oh, I'd love to hear it.
why fine arts? So if a student's thinking, why do I want to come to Houston High School, or what subjects do I want to take? This is more in your realm of why do you encourage students to take the fine arts courses?
Well, the reason any student and every student should take at least a couple of fine arts classes, but
Besides
certainly
this requirement.
besides the requirement, but the reason that the people in their great wisdom have decided that that is something that is a requirement is that there's not really another subject that in the same way teaches connection and innovative thinking and collaboration in quite the same way that the fine arts do. There's no career that you will have where it's a shame to bring innovative thinking to it.
Right.
There's not a one. And so to make those connections and those ways of seeing things in different ways that you learn from the fine arts is an invaluable skill that we teach all of our students, whether they're interested in visual art or theater or music, any of that.
And I think what's special too is for the community to understand that we do have a need at Houston High School. And the fact that we currently have 1,400 residents who are attending Houston High School, and the school is really built for 1,900 students. And so when we think about how do we want to draw students to our schools and create a school within a school, these academies serve that purpose.
They do. They provide especially, I'm sure the Honors Academy does too. And there's a lot of overlap, I have to say, in the people that Dr. Simone sees and the people that I see. In fact, one of my fine arts kids did the Capstone
And they're not
Project
mutually
in theater,
exclusive, right?
And they're not mutually exclusive at all. But yeah, this is a nice place to find home. But it's not, I think we also think of the fine arts as people who are gifted in a certain way. And God bless those gifted artists that walk and live among us. And certainly I've had my hands on teaching several of them. But everyone benefits from not only what the artists bring to us, but from learning how an artist thinks and learning to think more like an artist oneself. But you definitely find a home in any of these communities, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, well, iron sharpens iron, just like you
Yeah,
said.
yeah.
And so it gives a lot of kids an opportunity. You know, they may be the best of the best where they came from, but to come and join with our Germantown kids and really compete and push each other in that small community to really, you know, that's how we get so many national merit semifinalists.
Right.
Is iron sharpens iron, and everybody's working together in a really positive atmosphere to be the best that they can be.
Absolutely.
So thinking of going forward with the academies, when we talk about dreaming, I know that we are looking at facilities and upgrades for us. It's not just theater, and I know that's your baby and what you teach. Tell us a little bit more of the fine arts that we have here.
You know, we're lucky that we live in Memphis, in the area of Memphis, because the arts that exist, really even just in Germantown, but also throughout Memphis and Collierville and all of Shelby County, are incredible. We have the fine arts community of a town 2 and 3 times our size. So you're going to, of course, have kids that are incredibly interested in that. And we have an opportunity to partner with them with professional artists that live in the community, because those professional artists usually are very not only willing but eager to give back in some way. So remind me with the question.
No, that was it. We're talking about how can we go and move forward and talk about the art.
We've got all this beautiful visual arts. These students that take AP art every year, what they create astonishes me. We have a beautiful strings program, an excellent band. We have such a beautiful choir. We have all of these performing arts that are presented for us that connect together, and we do things for each other. We have choir kids in the theater. We have strings playing for the choir, all of that. So again, collaboration is what we sort of are really, really talking about.
And I think you brought up a really good point really quickly, that connecting with professionals in the community is a huge thing that not a lot of high school kids have the opportunity to do. So that's an important aspect.
Thank you both for our current state of our academies and also for dreaming of what they could grow into, because I think we are just starting to see the potential of what they can become.
Thank you so much.
Mark your calendars for our Houston High School Academies Preview Night on November 13th at 6:30, or our Houston High School Open House on February 12th at 6 p.m., where you can see these academies. Well, that's all we have time for on this month's Spotlight on Excellence. If you'd like more information about this or any other show on Germantown Municipal Television, visit us on our website at www.gmtvonline.org. Until next time, this has been Superintendent Jason Manuel for this month's installment of the Germantown Municipal School District's Spotlight on Excellence.